Good morning, everybody. Hey, this is Natasha. How are you guys doing today? It's a beautiful day. We're going to try to get this adjusted just a little bit here. Hey, Bonnie. Hi, Linda. Hi, Nora. I had a little bit of difficulty there with the Wi-Fi. Hopefully we'll be okay. Oh, I tell you, technology is just one thing after another, isn't it? On Monday, I saw that our local community college, the Zoom crashed, and I was worried because I had 3 Zoom classes on Tuesday with the library, and they got back online, but it's always crazy, isn't it? So we're gonna wait just a couple minutes and see if we have a few more joining us. I decided to do things right this morning and make myself a cup of tea to have while we chat. So I've got my pretty Polish pottery mug. Many thanks, a shout out to Rebecca over at More Polish Pottery. And my choice of tea, I wonder if anybody can guess it. Does anybody know what I like to drink? I'm pretty predictable. Basically it has to have some sugar in it, cream and sugar, and Earl Grey, so that's what I'm drinking. What's everybody else's relaxing drink of choice, I should say? I like making hot chocolate, but it's definitely not hot chocolate season, so we're not doing that at the moment. But yeah, nice morning cup of tea. I always look forward to that. Well, we're going to be chatting about the newest colors I've been dyeing. I'm pretty excited. It's called the Garden Collection. But I really just wanted to kind of share our story about the garden and farming and everything. I know we have some folks that might be new, and we're getting ready for our show tomorrow. The place is kind of a mess. It is full of fibers, like every single corner, surface, table is filled with fiber at the moment, so it's a little crazy. I in fact ordered more wool, so I've been dyeing and dyeing and dyeing and dyeing and dyeing. So we have a lot of great colors coming. But yeah, our show tomorrow is with the Wool and Fiber Festival show, so you can go to their page, like and follow them, and we'll be on at 1:30 Central Standard Time, and I'll be showcasing everything. Now what we're kind of doing is I'm also doing a launch for a page on our website that will have a gallery, and you'll be able to go through and all the items will have numbers. So each of the individual bats or fiber or yarn will be numbered, so you can pick out which one you want, and then you can order right off the website. So we're kind of, doing that in conjunction with the Wool and Fiber Art sale tomorrow. So that'll be launched at 1:30. Along with our live video. So we'll try to make sure everybody's connected and everything like that on what all's going on. But I just wanted to share with you a little bit about the inspiration behind the latest colors that we're doing. So, I always kind of spontaneously, is that even a word, dye colors. I am not like one to sit down and, kind of plan things. I just kind of fly by the moment and what is inspiring me lately. And so, of course, I spend a lot of time outside. And so this idea popped into my head early on in the season that I wanted to actually inspire the colors this summer and early fall with the colors of the garden. And so I just thought it'd be kind of fun to back up a little bit and tell you about how we started on our garden journey, and then I'll be showing you all the colors, and I have pictures that inspired the colors, so I'll walk you through the different pictures and the colors. But for those of you who don't know, we do a lot of different things here at Esther's Place, and a lot of people, I think we're kind of crazy, and myself included some days. So our family, just a short synopsis, my family moved out from the suburbs, Aurora, Naperville area in 2000, with the hopes of having a farm and raising sheep. We really didn't know like why or what the plan was, just that we wanted to, have sheep. And so actually my mom had this kind of voice she heard from God that said, you're gonna live in Big Rock and raise sheep. And so that was kind of the extent of our plan, was like God told us this is gonna be what we're gonna do, so we're just gonna go with it. And that was 20 years ago. Can you believe it? 20 years ago. So I was 12 years old, and I loved it. I moved to the farm. I was like Anne of Green Gables and Laura from Little House on the Prairie, and all of these wonderful characters that I grew up reading about, all kind of rolled into one. And so I would love to get my hands dirty, plant in the garden, collect wildflowers. I ruined my mom's dictionary by pressing wildflowers in it. This was like her dictionary she grew up with as a kid. So there is no section of D anymore in that dictionary because I pressed columbines one summer. So I just grew up with this lovely kind of nature-inspired childhood, raising sheep. We started out with 2 sheep, and it just kind of grew from there. And eventually, a couple years down the road, my dad actually lost his corporate job, and we were faced with, what are we going to do now? So we decided that it was really easy to grow garden vegetables, right? I mean, anybody can do it, which is a big laugh now thinking back on it. And we decided that we were going to jump on the bandwagon. The very hot bandwagon right then in the early 2000s was farmers markets. Everybody was starting farmers markets, so we were going to do farmers markets. And so we planted a big garden, and we signed up for our first couple of farmers markets, and it kind of grew from there. So we started out with doing wheat and French market, and we were just like the only little organic farm. And we were little. I mean, most of the other people were bigger farms, and there weren't any like heirloom tomatoes out there really at the markets. There was really not a lot of diversity. So we focused in on colors and textures and just really awesome heirloom vegetables. And that's what we were known for. We would bring baskets of greens to the market, and people could pick and mix and match their greens. We would do baskets of heirloom tomatoes, and we would sample the tomatoes and have people try the different colors because they weren't used to things other than a red tomato. So I grew up, as this shy kind of introverted child who could barely sell a box of Girl Scout cookies, let alone, sustain a farmer's market booth. And so as a teenager, I would bring my spinning wheel, I would sit and spin, I would talk to people, I would sell the vegetables with my family, and we did this all through my growing up years. So all through my teenage years, I was known as the spinning girl, basically. And so I really just loved being a part of, the markets and selling a product you really believe in. I think sometimes, it's hard to sell things that you don't believe in. And so that's really what got me started on an entrepreneurial kick, was, having something that I grew, that I loved, that, I believed in. And so from there, our garden kind of grew. We started a CSA, then we started Esther's Place. And so all through this time, we've kind of evolved a little bit as a farm. My parents are older now, and so my husband and I, Jonathan, have taken it over. We have an amazing team. We've grown our CSA this year. We have a farm stand here at the shop, and I love combining my passions together, farming and fiber. And so that inspires so much that I do. So it is kind of all like puzzle pieces that fit together. And this year with COVID, I have to admit, the ebb and the flow of the different businesses that we do, from the teaching to the farming to the fiber, they kind of balanced each other out. And so when we were really slow here at the shop and on lockdown and shutdown, we were able to be really busy at the farm. And that's what kind of inspired this whole collection and the colors that you're going to see today. And so that is kind of the backstory. So you ready to see some cool fibers? I'm excited. I am really excited. I've been dying for days, literally, to show you everything. But you have to know that they're going to be released tomorrow at the live show, and they'll also be here in the shop. So the fibers will go live on our website, and then they'll also be here at the shop. I'm gonna actually set up, like in my classroom, a little show spot. So like if you were to come to a show, I'm gonna have everything set up. So if you come this weekend, come Saturday, you can actually shop our fiber festival. Wouldn't that be fun? So we're gonna get started with a couple. I've got 5 different, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 5 different colors that are part of this collection. Plus I've got a lot of like solid colors that you can pair with them, and so I'll give you some suggestions and ideas. Now these fibers are great for spinning, great for wet felting, and we have some beautiful yarn too. So all right, I'm gonna start with the purple one because I am like a huge purple fan, and this one is inspired by Eggplant, and I don't know how many people are Eggplant fans out there. I would say I'm like about Eggplant, but they're so beautiful to grow and so fun to pick, and so it's really encouraged me for more ways to enjoy Eggplant. And so we grow a variety of different eggplants, and this here is the picture that kind of inspired it all. And you can see from the different colors, we grow a couple different kinds of eggplant, the long Asian eggplant, the regular Italian. I love these stripy ones. They're called Nubia. And so that is the picture that inspired the colorway. And we just started picking eggplant this week, and so they're just so vibrant and so gorgeous. So these are all pictures I've taken from the farm, and they're so incredibly vibrant in real life that I really try hard to capture just how beautiful they are. So that being the inspiration, we came up with a gorgeous colorway of eggplant, and this is actually a long gradient. So it starts at one color and it goes into the other, and so we've got the different kinds of eggplant in here, you can see, and it flows from one color to the next, but all the colors are kind of intermixed in there. And these are 4 ounces of Rambouillet fiber. It's all American grown, and it's dyed right here, of course. So that is our eggplant gradient, and it's so long I can't even fit it all on screen here. I'll just wear it. It's like a sash, right, for Miss America of eggplant. And then we have yarn to go with it, and so this yarn is, you know, very similar colors. Now the yarn, of course, is going to do the colors a little bit differently than the fiber. I'm going to open one up so you can see, and this is a gorgeous mixture of yarn. This is also American made and processed, and it is a 40% wool, 40% alpaca, baby alpaca, and 20% silk. So you can see how the colors mix in there. So you're going to get longer color successions with this yarn, and there's about 250 yards in here, so lots of cool colors in there. So that is our eggplant colorway. So it's a long gradient with long color repeats, and just a gorgeous blend of all the different eggplant that we love best. So that one is my favorite, probably because it's purple, of course. So all right, we are going to go on to one that is kind of fun. So this year, something new that I've been doing a lot of is growing flowers, and it's always been my dream. I've seen so many cool flower farmers out there, and being a vegetable grower, you know, I love vegetables, but people just smile so much bigger when you give them flowers. I mean, I just don't get that same grin when I give somebody kohlrabi as I do when they have sunflowers. And so we have some zinnias and sunflowers that I've been growing this year, and I just started picking them about a month ago, and I am completely in love. I mean, every day you go out there and there's more magical little blooms, and they're in the one corner of our garden that's over by the neighbor's cows, and it's kind of a dreary corner, and the flowers just brighten everything up. So it's been kind of an experiment this year growing the flowers. This was one of the first bundles that I picked, and just the color explosions are incredible. Then I started putting them together with different filler, and I'm just using what I have in the garden because, again, I'm just experimenting, and I didn't really plan this very well, but I'm hoping for next year to keep learning more about growing flowers and to add to my repertoire of things. And so here I've actually added some purple basil to the bundles, which I think is just so pretty, and it's such a great contrast to the colors. And then my sunflowers, which I had these great sunflowers called Pro Cut, from Johnny's. And Johnny's Seeds is where I get a lot of my seeds, and they grow great stuff for small market gardeners and things like that. And so my big sunflowers, after I cut those, they ended up with these little sunflowers that are perfect to pair with the zinnias. And so this gorgeous mixture of colors was so inspiring. So then I just would fall in love with what I was picking every day. Just like the buckets full of flowers were incredible. I mean, everyone was picture worthy. I kind of felt like a mom who was like over posting their kids' pictures because their baby's so cute and beautiful, which honestly I don't believe you can over post baby pictures, so please don't take that as judgment from me. I will overpost flower pictures any day because I think they're so beautiful. So those are just like one picking bucket full from one morning. And then I started sorting them by color because, you know me, I'm just like, everything has to be sorted by color. And so I just found so much inspiration. And I'm not, you know, a yellow-orange person, but I just started using these gorgeous colors together and I love them. And I think they're so bright and cheery. So are you ready to see what that one gave birth to? So that is actually our Sunflower and Zinnia colorway. And that is a mix of just different colors in that colorway. So there's going to be short repeats in that one, and it flows really nicely. So you're going to be looking at a beautiful blend of colors in that one. So this one has short colors running through it, and then the corresponding yarn that we've got, and of course that's that Rambouillet. And if you haven't spun Rambouillet, it's very much like merino. Gotta take a tea break here. And it's very soft and really buttery. It is beautiful. So great for spinning. It's also great for wet felting. So if you're doing like Nuno felting or wet felting, really great. So there's our colorway for that. Now we have two corresponding yarns, and I'll tell you, they're a little different. We have 3 of each of them. So all of our quantities are kind of limited, and when you go on our website, and we'll be posting links, of course, and everything for that, there'll be a page called Wool and Fiber Festival. All the fibers will be on there, and you can shop. But I will limit the quantities to what I have dyed, and so you're going to have to hop on there quickly and snatch up what you like. So the 2 here, this one right here, is just kind of random color placement. There's all the different colors in there. This one over here is dyed kind of like the fiber, where it's actually striped in small colors. So we'll open this up for you to see. And this one's going to kind of flow from color to color, whereas the other one, and we call this one sprinkled, and the other one is variegated. So you can see just subtle differences, and you could combine the 2 skeins together as you're working on a project, or you can do them separate. So, you know, just kind of some different ways of doing it. I actually tried one way and I'm like, nope, we're going to try the other way. So that's why there's 3 of one and 3 of the other. Again, like I said earlier, I just dye things as they inspire me. So I don't try to hold to a lot of rules. I just kind of do what the color tells me to do. So, are you ready for more color? Okay, so this one's kind of a fun one. Now, I don't know how many of you are Swiss Chard fans. That is probably one of our harder things to sell people on, is Swiss Chard. And Swiss Chard, for those of you who aren't familiar with it, is a green that has a celery-like stem that, it doesn't taste like celery, but it's like a crunchier stem. And then this big leafy dark green, you know, calcium-rich, really wonderful superfood here. But it grows like all season long. It grows through cold, it grows through hot, and a lot of times the Swiss Chard will actually span the entire gardening season. So I tend to, you know, have people who get a little weary of Swiss Chard, but it's so beautiful, it's so vibrant, and the variety that we grow is called Bright Light Swiss Chard. And I mean, the color is out of this world. Like, you really don't believe this is something that you can even find in nature. I mean, the colors are like electric. And then these wonderful kind of limey and dark green greens. It's just so pretty. And so I just always would pick this thinking, this is a color right here waiting to happen. And it's just so pretty. You know, the variety of pinks and oranges and yellow, like fluorescent colors. And they just, I mean, they always look so pretty laid out there. And so when I was planting them this spring, I actually saw that they had colored roots. So not only were their leaves beautifully colored and their stems beautifully colored, but the roots were beautifully colored. And that blew my mind. And I just love that contrast of the dark up against the colors and, you know, this neutral with the colors. And so that inspired the colorway of the Bright Lights Swiss Chard. And here we are planting. We tried a new method of planting into a black plastic, and we really liked the way that turned out. And there's a selfie with me planting. So you can see, farm girl, shop girl. I do it all, right? So this Swiss Chard colorway ended up being kind of a beautiful, soft blend of wonderful kind of summer into fall colors. Now this one's got some larger color sections of it, and it goes from this kind of taupey, gray, brown at the bottom, which actually has some hints of coral in it, into the coral, the orange, the pink, the yellow, which all kinds of blends into this fun limey green with some brighter green up at the top there. And so that one is a really fun one, the Swiss Chard colorway. And it's got a corresponding yarn, of course. And that one's got some fun distinction in there. And it reminds me also, somebody said, of watermelon tourmaline, the stone. And it's just a fun one. And all the different colors, how they interact in there between that smoky kind of taupe at the bottom and the oranges and the pinks and the greens and the yellow. Just a really fun combination. And so that's how I interpreted the Swiss Chard there. All right. So Swiss Chard, and the fun thing too is we've got some great colors that you can combine. And so I want to show you some things that I would put with this. So I would spin one of these as one of my plies. And then as my other ply, you could put, we have this wonderful chartreuse color that you could put with it. Isn't that fun? I mean, look at that. That really is just an awesome, funky pop of color. So that's the chartreuse. What do y'all think of that? And then another one that you could put with it, I'm looking through all my colors here, is if you like to go a little bit more fall, you could put like a rust with it. So what do you think, rust or chartreuse? That's a really pretty combination in there. And then we also had, let's see, we have a pop, if you want a real pop of color, you could also put a turquoise with it. So just some different color combinations that you can put. And so we have some of those semi-solids of the Rambouillet that pairs really well, where you can combine it with it, either through blending or through plying or whatnot. So yeah, just some fun ways to put things together. Okay, we have two more colors, and these are all from the garden collection. I'm showing you what inspired the colors of our latest verse. Particular to see, I hope you get to see them in person, but we'll be doing our best to show them to you visually through the computer as well. Okay, so this one is actually fresh off the dye pot. I did this one last night, and I love literature. I love classic literature, and one of my favorite stories is this little book that you might not have really heard of. It's called So Big, and it's by Edna Ferber, and it is written about a woman who is this young lady who's a teacher, and she's a teacher back in like the I think the maybe 1910s, 19 teens, and she comes to this very kind of entrenched culture of Dutch German farmers who grow vegetables outside of Chicago in what used to be a very vibrant vegetable growing region, which is now actually O'Hare Airport. That was a huge community of vegetable growers. So this is loosely based on historical accuracy and like cultural culture of this area and this community, which I think is kind of cool. So she came into this community and she's an outsider, and they're very dead set on, their ways and everything. And they're hardworking, and they're just, nose to the grindstone kind of people. And she comes in and she has this beautiful teacher mind that sees things in a whole different eye, and she gazes upon these fields that they've sweated and toiled in, and she says, those cabbages are beautiful, and they're like emeralds and rubies. And the farmer turns to her and says, them cabbages are beautiful. And I just love that analogy of, it's what we see. Like, we need to keep our eyes open to see the beauty in the mundane, in the everyday, because, if we don't, every day just kind of passes by. And so always remember that quote about the beautiful cabbages. And so this picture inspired a beautiful colorway. And I love vibrant colors. I love the disparity of some of the crazy contrasts we have in nature, but I also like kind of soft, muted colors. And this one here is a picture of a variety called Dead On, I think is the variety, but it's this gorgeous Savoy cabbage that is kind of a later cabbage, and it's just this great blend of kind of blue greens with purple and rose and maroon in the stems. And when they get a little bit of water, they glisten and they shine and they shimmer, and they're just so pretty with that little bit of ruffle. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous variety. And so I just loved capturing that picture, and that inspired this colorway. So this one is really soft, and it's really kind of naturey. I love it. So it's got some greens, it's got some purples, it's got a hint of the rose. It kind of looks like my wall behind me, and it's just really fun, soft. Now it's got little varieties of color, little variations in there, and so that one's going to spin up really soft, really nice fall, muted color. And that you could pair together with something brighter if you wanted to, or like an intense. We have this gorgeous violet that you could put together with it if you wanted to bring out the purple, or we've got some different greens and things like that. Now the yarn turned out really pretty for that one. I thought that was just really gorgeous, and it's got the purple, it's got the rose, it's got the greens, and just a variety of shades. And that one just goes all throughout. So it's just a little bit of colors here and there. It changes a lot, so it's going to mix up really nicely as you're knitting or crocheting. So that's that one there. So our last one, I'm saving the best for last. This one is really bright, really colorful, and I think this one is kind of the best life lesson of all. So in the garden, not only am I always just inspired by the things that we're growing and the colors and the variety, but also nature itself blows me away. And this year has been, kind of an interesting growing season. It has been a very, very, shall I say, interesting atmosphere in our world, hasn't it? And so in the garden, we experience a lot of climate change, and you're adapting all the time, and you're just having to do whatever you have to do to get through. And in that, you see some really great moments, you see some really scary moments. You have to hold on to your faith that you're going to pull through the hard times, and that there's going to be good times. And so the storms that we experience in the garden can destroy you, but at the same time they can also give the life essential elements that you need. And so there's nothing like intense storms, but there's also nothing like a rainbow after a storm. And so I took this picture after a really crazy intense storm, and that's our garden right there. That's our neighbor's barn. And then there's just this rainbow, and it stretched. It was a full arcing rainbow, and I think I've even caught some double rainbows before, but it casts this golden glow over everything, and it's just so beautiful. And so somewhere over the rainbow is our last colorway, and it is a long gradient, and I've done this one before, but I had to bring it out because I felt like it really related to the garden collection. And so it goes from color into color into color, and so you've got a long repeat from one shade into the other. And what I like is it's a very calming rainbow. You know, sometimes you can get rainbows that are just kind of like blah in your face. This one is a very calming rainbow. And so you've got it all the way down to, you know, these purples and blues and things like that. And of course we have a corresponding yarn that y'all are gonna love. So this one is your long colorways, rainbow colorways. And so we've got our different yarns here. We've got about 6 of each of the yarns and 6 of each of the fibers, and they all go live on our new page tomorrow on our website. It's the Wool and Fiber Arts Festival. We'll have a gallery with all the pictures. Kind of like this little like rainbow framing thing, don't you think? That's kind of cool. I don't know. So we have a gallery. You can purchase them right online, but then we'll also be having at 1:30 on the Wool and Fiber Arts page, or Wool and Fiber Festival page, is our time slot, and we'll be sharing all of our cool fibers, because I have more. Of course I have more. Are you kidding me? I got all kinds of goodies. But we have just a limited number of all of these guys that I'm showing today, and so they're not available until tomorrow, so you're gonna have to wait. But you can go online at 1:30 on our website and purchase, and then you can see all of the other fibers. So I've got semi-solid colors, I've got bats, I've got the crazy bats, the needle felting bats. All of that will be on that live show, and then it'll also be on our website, so you can shop right from the website. So our wonderful collection, all of the fibers, all of the colors, inspired by the garden. And so you can see that even though, you know, I spend a crazy amount of hours in the garden, and y'all, I scrubbed up my nails for you. They're clean. Isn't that impressive? I was pretty excited about that. The small pleasures in life. So I get a lot of dirt underneath my nails. I spend a lot of time in the garden, but I just wanted to show you today kind of how those puzzle pieces fit together, because I think it's really cool how we can take and be inspired by all the different things in our life and how they flow from one thing into the other. And that's what I wanted to show you today with the fibers, is that the colors that I see outside in nature, just the splendorful, glorious things that I see, definitely, you know, print upon my head and my heart, and they become some of the colors that I put together here at the shop. And so, you know, even though it seems like we're doing a crazy amount of things on a day-to-day basis, and yes, I don't get a lot of sleep, and I work crazy busy hours and stuff, you know, it really does all go together. And so hopefully you've enjoyed just this little peek preview of the fibers and of some of the different things that inspired them. I wanted to take the time to kind of walk through and show you some of the inspiration, because I think that is really a special thing. So I'll be posting more, so if you didn't have a chance to catch us today on the live feed, you can see everything. But stay tuned tomorrow, Friday, 1:30, the launch of the new page on the website, with all the products, and then also our live Wool and Fiber Festival page show we'll be doing. So we'll have more fibers then. So stay tuned. I'll see if I can turn this around a little bit so you can see some of my crazy going on here. Woo! All right, so here we've got, give you a little bit of a tour. Fibers for blending. Semi-solid colors over there on the table that pair really well. And then turn this around. Cheers! That's all the new collection. Isn't that awesome? And then a stack of Crazy Bats. Da, 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 da. So many delicious colors. So stay tuned, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. And hopefully you can pick up some of these fibers. And if you are in person here in the Chicagoland area and you can take a trip out to our shop on Saturday, we'll be having everything set up as a fiber show, and you can actually shop here live as well. So thank you guys for coming. I will be posting this video up on our website as well, so you can check it out if you didn't have a chance to join us for the whole thing. So thanks, and I'm gonna get back to blending and dyeing more. So stay tuned, but thanks for joining me. See you tomorrow at our 1:30 show on the Wool and Fiber Festival page, and I'll be posting a link in the comments as well. So thanks guys for joining me and listening to a little bit of my heart. Bye!